Have you ever dreamed of a loved one who has passed away? Not once, not twice, but 3 times. You wake up unsettled, wondering, why are they visiting me? What do they want? Today, we'll unlock Edgar Cayce's forgotten secret about what to do when this happens, before the message slips away forever. Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, gave us over 14,000 psychic readings. In them, he revealed that dreams are not illusions. They are sacred doorways. A dream repeated 3 times was never to be ignored. It was the soul itself knocking. In this video, we will uncover Cayce's hidden wisdom on what you must do if a dead relative visits your dreams 3 times. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, your heart racing, because you just saw someone you loved, someone who has long since left this world, standing in front of you as if they were alive again? Maybe they spoke to you, maybe they only looked at you, or maybe they just appeared silent but unmistakably real, and you ask yourself, was that just a dream, or was it something more? Edgar Cayce, often called the sleeping prophet, devoted much of his life to uncovering the hidden language of dreams. He revealed that what we experience in our sleep is not mere imagination, not just fragments of our waking mind, but an open channel between the conscious self and the soul. In Cayce's words, dreams are the bridge, the highway, the sacred meeting ground where the soul can commune with higher realms, with guides, with God, and yes, even with those who have departed this earthly life. Think about it for a moment. During the day, we are wrapped in noise, responsibilities, fears, tasks, endless chatter. But when we sleep, the noise falls away. The conscious mind relaxes, and what emerges is the voice of the subconscious, the soul, the part of us that never sleeps and never dies. This is the place where our loved ones can reach us, because here we are no longer bound by time, space, or even death itself. When a dead relative comes into your dream, it is not the same as dreaming about a stranger or about an event that never happened. It is a visitation. Cayce taught that the soul of the departed is alive and aware, and when they step into your dream, it is because there is something that must be shared. It may be reassurance, it may be comfort, or it may be a warning. But whatever it is intentional. These encounters are never random. Now, some people brush it off. They wake up, they shake their heads, and they tell themselves, "Oh, it was just a dream." But Cayce would say, no, it was not just a dream. It was a moment when the veil between worlds grew thin, and you were granted a glimpse of eternity. You were touched by the soul of another who still remembers you, who still cares for you, who is still bound to you through love. What's fascinating is how vivid these dreams can feel. Many people describe them as more real than reality itself. The colors sharper, the emotions stronger, the presence undeniable. That is because the dream state is closer to the soul's true reality than our waking life. In dreams, the soul does not need to disguise itself. It speaks plainly. It appears clearly. And when that loved one stands before you, you know it is them. Not a memory, not a shadow, but them. Cayce explained that dreams are like letters from the universe. Some are written in symbols, requiring interpretation. But when a dead relative comes to you, the message often comes with a directness that cuts through all doubt. And yet, the challenge is always this. Are you listening? Are you paying attention? Or are you dismissing the most sacred communication of your life? Let me give you an example of what Cayce often saw in his readings. A woman would come to him, troubled, saying that her father, who had passed years ago, appeared to her night after night. Sometimes he would simply smile. Sometimes he would say a word or two, and she would ask Cayce, "What does this mean? Am I going crazy?" And Cayce would respond, "No, you are not crazy. You are being visited. The soul of your father has found a way to cross into your dream because your heart is ready to receive him." You see, this is the mystery of dreams. They bypass the rational mind. They slip past the barriers of doubt and skepticism, and they speak directly to the deepest part of you. That is why when you see a dead relative in a dream, you cannot simply laugh it off. You feel it in your bones. You wake up knowing that something profound just happened, even if you cannot explain it. Cayce believed that our dreams were often more truthful than our waking life. because they reveal what lies beneath the surface. And when the dead visit us in this sacred space, it is because truth itself is calling to us. They may be showing you that they are at peace, that you are forgiven, that you are protected, or that something in your life must change. But always, always the dream carries a purpose. And here's something Cayce repeated over and over. The bridge of dreams is not closed to anyone. You do not have to be a prophet or a psychic or a mystic. Every single one of us is given dreams because every single one of us is a soul connected to the greater whole. That means if your mother, your father, your child, or your friend appears to you 3 times in a dream, it is because they are reaching out across the bridge of eternity, hoping you will listen. If a loved one has come into your dreams once, you may tell yourself it was coincidence. Twice, and you begin to wonder, but 3 times is no accident. EDGAR CAYCE taught that repetition is never meaningless in the language of the soul. When something appears again and again, especially in the sacred space of a dream, it is because the universe is pressing a message upon your heart, urging you to pay attention. Why 3? Why not once or twice or even 4 times? To Cayce, the number 3 held spiritual power. It represented completion, harmony, and divine confirmation. In the Christian tradition that shaped much of his understanding, 3 is the number of the Trinity: Father, Son, and Spirit. In the cycles of life, 3 is birth, life, and death. In the journey of the soul, 3 represents the balance of body, mind, and spirit. So when a departed loved one comes to you not once, not twice, but 3 times, it is the soul's way of saying, this is real. This is urgent, you must not ignore it. Imagine, for a moment, you are dreaming. Your grandmother appears. She smiles softly. Perhaps she speaks a word. Perhaps she simply looks at you. You wake up unsettled, but you shake it off. Days pass, then again, in another dream, she appears. This time her eyes are more insistent. Again you wake, wondering why. And then, a 3rd time, she comes. Now the feeling is undeniable. It is not just memory. It is not chance. The dream is no longer something passing. It has become a calling. Cayce often warned that when messages come in 3s, the soul is trying desperately to break through your disbelief. Once, and you might dismiss it. Twice, and you may be curious. But 3 times. 3 times is the universe raising its voice. The spirit of your loved one is saying, you must see me, you must hear me, you must remember what I am showing you. And here's the mystery: the dream may not always be clear. It may be wrapped in symbols, a door that will not open, a light that flickers, a road that seems endless. Cayce explained that our subconscious often cloaks spiritual truths in images our conscious mind struggles to interpret. But the repetition, the insistence of 3 visits, means the message beneath those symbols is vital. It means there is something in your life, something in your soul, that demands your attention. You see, in the physical world, we are stubborn. We cling to our routines, our beliefs, our distractions. But in the dream world, the spirit has more freedom to repeat itself until we listen. Cayce described it like a teacher who will not give up on a child. If you do not learn the lesson the first time, the teacher returns again and again until you understand. When the dead appear 3 times, they are that teacher. They are saying the lesson is here. Do not ignore it. Think of how often 3s shape our very lives. A story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. A problem is presented, wrestled with, and resolved. Our very existence is divided into youth, adulthood, and old age. 3 gives structure, 3 gives meaning. And when a departed soul steps into your dream 3 times, they are giving you structure. They are weaving meaning into your life. They are building a story that cannot be dismissed. Many people who came to Cayce would confess they had been visited by the dead, but only when the visits repeated did they feel the weight of it. A man once told him that his brother, long gone, appeared first with a smile. Then again, weeks later, with a warning, and then a 3rd time, pointing toward a path the man should not take. This repetition jolted him awake to the reality that the dream was more than fantasy. It was guidance. It was protection. It was love, disguised as persistence. And perhaps you have felt this yourself. Perhaps you have seen a face from the other side appear to you 3 times, and with each dream you felt the pull growing stronger. The first time you wondered, the second time you questioned, the third time you knew. You knew it was not imagination. You knew the spirit of your loved one had crossed the veil to reach you. You knew the dream was alive. Cayce believed that the soul does not waste its energy. If the dead return to your dreams again and again, it is because the message is important enough to insist upon. The number 3 is the seal, the confirmation, the stamp of truth. It says, this is not chance. This is not a passing image of the mind. This is your soul being addressed by another soul. And the question is no longer whether it was real, but whether you will listen. When a loved one visits us in our dreams, especially in repetition, it is not only a signal to pay attention, but also an invitation to search deeper. EDGAR CAYCE often reminded us that nothing in the soul's world is meaningless. Every vision, every symbol, every word spoken in the dream carries weight. And when the dead appear to us, their visits hold layers of meaning, layers that can shape the way we live, the way we love, and the way we see our very existence. Think about this carefully. Why would a soul that has left the body, a soul that has moved into another realm of being, take the time and the energy to reach back across the veil to you? It is not to entertain, it is not to disturb, and it is not random. It is because there is something unfinished, something unresolved, or something vital that must be passed on. Cayce explained that the deeper meaning of these encounters is often found in 3 currents: healing, forgiveness, and guidance. For some, the appearance of a dead relative is a balm to the heart. It is healing. A daughter who loses her mother young may dream of her mother's embrace years later, at a time when she feels lost. In that dream, she feels a love so powerful that she wakes with tears streaming down her face, but also with a sense of wholeness she thought she had lost forever. Cayce would say that the soul of the mother, still alive and aware, stepped into her daughter's dream to pour healing into her heart. This is one of the great meanings of these visits, to remind us that love does not die and that we are not as alone as we believe ourselves to be. But for others, the deeper meaning is forgiveness. A man who quarreled with his brother before his brother's death may be haunted by regret. Then one night he dreams of his brother. The brother's eyes are calm, his face peaceful, and though no words are spoken, the message is clear: I forgive you, let it go. That dream becomes a release, a way for the living to lay down the burden they have carried for years. Cayce often said that the dead can reach us when we are finally ready to hear what they could not say in life. Dreams provide that sacred stage where old wounds can be healed and the chains of guilt can finally be broken. And then there is guidance. This is perhaps the most mysterious, but also the most transformative meaning of these encounters. Sometimes the dead come to us not only to comfort, not only to heal, but to direct us toward a choice, to warn us of danger, or to push us toward a destiny we are resisting. Cayce gave many readings where individuals were told that their departed loved ones were acting as messengers trying to prevent them from falling into the same mistakes, or guiding them toward a path of growth. A husband might dream of his late wife warning him against a hasty decision, or a mother might appear to her child urging patience, reminding them that not every road must be rushed. These dreams become turning points, nudges from the other side that redirect the course of our lives. What is striking about all of this is that the meaning is rarely shallow. When a dead relative visits 3 times, Cayce believed it was because the message was layered, profound, and absolutely necessary for the soul's journey. The healing may go beyond simple comfort. It may be tied to your health, your peace, even your ability to move forward. The forgiveness may not only be about the past, but about releasing patterns that still bind you today. And the guidance may not only be for the next decision you make, but for the very direction of your life. And we must remember that meaning often comes in symbols. A departed father may not always speak in words. He may appear holding a lantern, or standing at a crossroads, or handing you a book. At first, it seems strange, even confusing. But Cayce taught that the soul speaks in images because images bypass our resistance. A lantern may mean illumination, knowledge that will soon come. A crossroads may mean you are about to face a choice of destiny. A book may mean wisdom, lessons you must learn, or even the record of your own soul's journey. These symbols, when repeated across visits, reveal the deeper meaning the dead are trying to bring into your life. The question becomes, are we willing to look beneath the surface? Too often we are content with taking dreams lightly, brushing them away as nonsense. But Cayce urged us to treat them with reverence, to search them as though they were sacred texts, because, in a sense, they are. Each dream is a scripture written by the soul, and when the dead appear, it is as if another hand is joined in writing, leaving behind words of love, healing, or warning. The deeper meaning, then, is not only about the dead. It is also about the living. It is about you. It is about what you must learn, what you must release, what you must embrace, and what you must become. The departed relative does not appear in your dream to pull you into their world. They appear to help you live better in yours. When a departed loved one enters your dream 3 times, it is not only a visitation. It is a sacred dialogue between 2 worlds. And in this dialogue, acknowledgement becomes the key that unlocks the door. Many dismiss such dreams as imagination, as the restless stirring of the mind, but EDGAR CAYCE taught that acknowledgement, conscious recognition, is the very act that allows the soul to respond to the call. Imagine for a moment that you receive a letter in the mail from someone you love. You read it once, you feel touched, and then you set it aside without a reply. What happens? The communication remains incomplete. But when you take pen to paper and write back, you affirm that the bond is still alive, that the relationship continues. In much the same way, when the soul of a departed loved one visits us in dreams, acknowledgement becomes our written reply, not with ink and paper, but with heart and spirit. Cayce often said that prayer is not simply asking for something, but aligning oneself with the higher vibration of the universe. It is the tuning of the soul to divine frequencies, so that love, guidance, and peace may flow freely. When you wake from such a dream, acknowledgement begins with a simple whisper, "I know you are here. I receive you." In that moment, you step beyond fear and doubt, and you recognize that life is eternal, that the soul cannot die, and that love transcends even the grave. Prayer, then, becomes the sacred bridge. It is not a rigid formula or mechanical repetition. It is the opening of the heart, the surrender of the ego, the stillness that allows us to hear the echo of eternity. When you pray after such a visitation, you are not merely speaking into empty air. You are sending forth waves of light into the unseen realms, affirming connection, blessing the one who has reached out, and allowing their message to settle deeper into your spirit. Think of a prayer as a lamp. In the darkness of night, when the dream fades into shadow, you light the lamp and the darkness recedes. Your words, your thoughts, your gratitude, they are like oil fueling the flame. And the departed who stand just beyond the veil see this light and draw nearer, knowing that they are received with love. Acknowledgement without prayer is like a door unlocked but not opened. Prayer swings the door wide, inviting communion and blessing both worlds. Cayce urged that these moments not be ignored, for to ignore them is to turn away from the very gift of spirit. In prayer, you may speak words of gratitude, "Thank you for coming to me." You may offer words of love, "I still carry you in my heart." Or words of courage, "Guide me, for I walk this path with uncertainty." Each syllable vibrates into the unseen, carrying weight, carrying power, carrying the essence of your soul's sincerity. And acknowledgement does not end in spoken prayer, it extends into action. When you recognize a message, live by it. If your departed relative offers comfort, then embody peace in your daily life. If they offer warning, then walk with greater care. If they offer encouragement, then rise with courage to meet your trials. This, too, is prayer in motion, living acknowledgement, turning dream into deed. There is also a deeper mystery hidden here. Cayce revealed that when we pray in response to visitation, we are not only blessing the soul that comes, but also blessing ourselves. For prayer lifts our vibration, tunes our mind to divine wisdom, and allows healing to flow. It is a channel opened, not just for messages from the dead, but for light from the living God. Picture this. You sit in quiet meditation after a dream that left you trembling with awe. You close your eyes, fold your hands, and whisper a prayer. In that stillness, your racing thoughts grow quiet. The noise of the world softens, and in the silence you feel a presence, a warmth in your chest, a calm in your spirit, a subtle assurance that you are not alone. This is acknowledgement made real. This is prayer answered not with thunder, but with stillness, with peace, with the gentle knowing that eternity is closer than the air you breathe. Acknowledgement and prayer are the twin acts that transform dream into communion. They are not empty rituals. They are living movements of the soul, binding us across the gulf of time and space, revealing to us that there is no separation, only the illusion of it. When a departed loved one comes to you 3 times in dreams, it is never without reason. It is not a shadow of imagination, nor the fleeting spark of memory. It is the living soul reaching across the veil. EDGAR CAYCE often reminded us that life does not end with death. It merely changes form, and communication continues for those who are willing to listen. But listening alone is not enough, for the bridge between the living and the departed is not built on silence. It is built on acknowledgement and prayer. Think of it this way. If someone you deeply loved called your name and you never turned to look, the bond between you would weaken. But when you stop, when you meet their eyes, when you answer, "Yes, I hear you," the connection grows stronger. In the same way, the soul of your departed loved one longs for acknowledgement when they step into your dream. It is their way of saying, "I am still here." And when you recognize them, you speak across the dimensions, affirming that their presence matters, that their love endures. CAYCE taught that acknowledgement is the first response of the soul. It is the turning of attention inward and upward, the recognition that what you have just experienced is not a passing dream, but a sacred visitation. To acknowledge is to bow before the mystery and say, "I receive this gift." Without acknowledgement, the message floats untethered, like a letter unopened. With acknowledgement, the letter is read, cherished, and answered. But what then is the answer? It is prayer. Prayer is not an empty formula, nor is it the repetition of words without spirit. CAYCE described prayer as the attunement of the soul to the divine, a harmonizing with the higher vibrations of life itself. When you pray after such a visitation, you do more than speak words. You open a channel between the seen and unseen. You respond to the call of spirit with the language of spirit. Picture yourself waking from such a dream, your heart stirred, your mind still caught between worlds. The images may blur, but the presence lingers. In that moment, acknowledgement can be as simple as whispering, "I know you are here. I receive your visit." And then, as you quiet yourself, you allow prayer to rise. Prayer can take the form of gratitude, "Thank you for reaching me." It can take the form of love, "You are still in my heart." It can take the form of openness, "Guide me, for I am listening." Each prayer, no matter how simple, becomes a lamp in the darkness, a light that not only reaches the one who visits, but also illuminates your own path. CAYCE revealed that prayer carries vibration. It is not sound alone, but energy, energy that resonates across realms. Just as a tuning fork vibrates and causes another nearby to hum in harmony, so does the prayer of the living set the souls of the departed humming with recognition. They know they have been received. They know their message has found its mark. And as your words rise, so too does your own spirit, lifted by the very act of reaching toward the divine. This act of acknowledgement and prayer also transforms the dreamer. When you pray in response to a visitation, you are not only answering the one who came, you are answering your own soul. You are affirming to yourself that you believe in the continuity of life, that you trust in the wisdom of the unseen, that you open yourself to guidance beyond the material world. This shift changes the way you walk through life. You become more attuned, more sensitive, more awake to the signs and symbols that surround you every day. Consider for a moment what happens when you fail to acknowledge. The dream fades, the presence drifts, and the message lies dormant. The departed waits, patient but unheard, and you walk forward carrying the same burdens, the same questions, the same longing. Yet, when you acknowledge, when you pray, a door swings open. The dream becomes a conversation, the presence becomes a companion, and the message begins to transform your waking life. Prayer is also action. Cayce urged that true acknowledgement is not passive. It extends into how we live. If a loved one comes bearing comfort, you carry that comfort into your day and offer it to others. If they come with warning, you walk with greater care and wisdom. If they come with encouragement, you rise with courage to meet your trials. Prayer that is spoken in silence but never lived is only half complete. True acknowledgement is prayer lived out, prayer embodied, prayer made flesh in your choices and your deeds. And yet, prayer is not always about words. There are times when the heart speaks more than the lips. Sitting in silence, breathing deeply, placing your hand over your heart. This too is prayer. The departed does not always require your sentences. Often they only need your openness, your willingness to feel, your readiness to listen. Cayce described this as attunement, the soul aligning with the higher vibrations so that it may receive the currents of divine truth. In these moments, the boundary between you and the one you lost grows thinner, softer, less defined. The grief that once felt like separation gives way to a recognition of unity. You realize that what you thought was gone has only changed form, and acknowledgement paired with prayer becomes the vessel through which this truth is revealed. When the veil grows thin and a loved one crosses into your dream, it is never chance. It is the soul speaking across eternity. Cayce showed us that dreams are the bridge between worlds, a sacred place where the living and the departed meet. And when that dream repeats 3 times, it is no longer a whisper but a calling, an urgent sign that something within you must awaken. Do not dismiss these visits. Do not turn away from the messages they bring. Instead, honor them, record them, meditate upon them. Pray for understanding and act upon the guidance you are given. For in these encounters lies healing for your wounds, forgiveness for your regrets, and direction for your path. Your loved ones have not left you. They reach across the barrier of death because love does not end and because the soul cannot be silenced. Their visits are proof that life continues, that consciousness survives, and that you are being guided even in your darkest nights. Remember what Cayce once said, "Dreams are today's answers to tomorrow's questions." Perhaps, hidden within the visits of your departed loved ones, is the very answer your soul has been waiting for.